think I kind of already updated the last video and like updated you guys about like, hey, actually there's some other books that I just read after making this video and they're a lot better. So let's talk about the best books that I've read so far in 2021. First, let's talk about the number one most best book that I've read in 2021. You guys, I can't tell you how much I cried. I can't tell you. I can show you though. This book right here, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, by V.E. Schwab. The most romantic book of my entire life. Okay, so let's talk about this book. I gotta look, cute for the mood. Okay, so this book is hands down the most romantic book that I've ever read, I've ever witnessed, experienced. And from start to finish, okay, so this book is about a girl named Addie LaRue, and it starts where it's Paris in, I believe, the 1700s, or maybe the 1600s, probably 1700s, and basically she has to get married because it's like back then arranged marriages, women were property still, and so she does not want to. She is begging to the gods, she's praying all the time, she's like, please, please, please save me from this marriage, and then someone answers. And it's kind of like God's storyline, but it's very mythical as well. It kind of feels like a non-problematic Harry Potter romance. I can't express how beautifully written every single line, sentence, part of this book feels like I'm reading a poem. It's if you ever read Caraval, it's kind of in that way, but expect like a Nicholas Sparks ending. Like, I never cried as hard as I did for anything, apart from maybe like November 9 and Song of Achilles. I have never cried this hard, and I don't want to scare you when I say that, because I know like some people like to read just like these awfully depressing books. It's not a depressing book, it's just a very beautiful book. I cried about the beauty of the love. Like, it was just, ugh. So yeah, she begs for someone to save her from the marriage. She makes a deal with the devil, and the devil is this handsome looking guy, even though it's a long story, and basically the devil's in love with her, and she doesn't want to be with him because she's like, you don't really love me, you're not capable of love. And he's like, you're the only person that I've ever put up with this long. And yeah, so long story short, there's like a lot of themes surrounding the devil, but then there's also basically the theme about her is, he says, I will let you live, I will let you escape this marriage. And she's like, I want to live for a long time, blah blah blah. And so he's like, I'll let you live for a long period of time, but there's a catch, basically. And the theme is kind of like no one can remember her, so she'll meet people, or she'll have like a one night stand with someone, and they'll hit it off, they'll have amazing chemistry, and literally like the next day they'll wake up and be like, hi, who are you, and that's just how she's lived for hundreds of years. I think she's like 300 something, and like everyone forgets her. That's the kind of this theme about the book, is Addie LaRue gets to live to be as many years as she wants to be, and the devil comes back every so often on their anniversary of when they made their deal, and is like, are you ready to give me your soul and be done with this life? Because he has to make it remotely miserable for her so that he gets her soul faster. And she's like, no, I'm good. She prefers to live completely forgotten all the time, and she can't be attached to anyone or anything, and It's very interesting, but it's like her walking around New York City, and then it cuts or jumps to the 1800s in France. So it kind of goes back and forth between time periods. So you get to see her life in the 16, 17, 1800s, and then you also get to see her life in present day, like 2014, walking around New York City. And then one day she goes to this library and or no, it's like a bookstore. She goes to this bookstore and she kind of steals stuff because everyone forgets her. Like, she'll literally go to a bakery, steal something, and then someone will like go to call like the 911 or something, and then she'll walk out and then they'll be like, what was I doing? Why am I calling 911? Like, they just wipes their brain. So obviously she can't work or anything, so she has to steal. So she steals a book, and this guy, he goes out to like yell at her, and she's like, okay, I'm sorry. And then he was like, just keep it, whatever. And then the next day she's like, I'll just go back and do an exchange at the bookstore, because no one's gonna remember me. This guy's not gonna remember me. So she goes in and she goes, hi, someone gave me this book as a gift, I would like to exchange it. And he looks at her in all of her 300 years and he goes, you have a lot of nerve. And oh my god, he's the only person in the world that ever remembers her. And then we fall in love, and then she finds out, and then he also, I can't really tell you because I don't want to spoil it, but there's something that he's hiding from her, and they have the most beautiful love, but it's basically, just think of a clock or a quicksand clock, like the time is running out. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, I cried a lot. Very beautiful, very amazing. Gave me a Song of Achilles vibes, similar kind of drama. But yeah, you just have to read it. You really do. It's like the best book that I've ever read, and I'm sad just like thinking about it. I don't know. I just love it so much. Okay, and then my next book that I read this year, I already talked about A Song of Achilles in my last video, so I kind of don't want to repeat it, but it is a beautiful book. I want everyone to read it, so if you haven't read it, please read it or watch my last video about it. Hello. I was going to continue to list like other books, but then I figured why not just like keep it short and simple since I'm already at 13 minutes and list my most hated book that I've read so far in 2021, since I put my most favorite. I'll also list my most hated. And this one's going to be very shocking for people, and I don't think that they're going to understand, like, so yeah, just bear with me because I might actually lose a lot of like book fans because of saying this, but here I go. So people we meet on vacations. Let's talk about it. Okay, so this one right here, People We Meet on Vacations. Now, a lot of people love this book. I see so many people say so many positive things about it, and I don't understand. I don't understand. So basically, People We Meet on Vacations is about these friends from college who have friend-zoned one another, and they go on lots of vacations together, and the guy is clearly like in love with her, but she had like weird issues throughout the thing, and they have this like weird rapport. They have this cute banter in the beginning, I'll give them that, but the way that this was written and why it didn't work for me personally is just, it felt like such a run-on sentence. It felt like there were no cohesive storylines. It just felt like one of those cult classic edgy films where the whole movie is just dialogue and less about the scene. And I like the scene to be set for me. I like to understand like what's happening around the ambiance, or you know, the themes about what's happening around you. And this just felt like people were just talking and talking and talking, and it wasn't even like a cohesive conversation. It would just be like scattered talking or dialogue, and then the random things that the author decided to choose the narrator to go on tangents about, or the main character. I didn't understand. I should have also known that I wasn't gonna like this book because Jodi Picoult or whatever said The Perfect Getaway. She like put the little quote on the front. And I've never really liked her books. I've always been bored by Jodie, so I should have known. And I think I was just disappointed because Emily Henry wrote Beach Read, and I thought it was so good. The way that she introduced the characters and the storyline and the plot, and the way that she had tension and character development and a cohesive story that was really engaging. So when I thought that everyone was recommending people we meet on vacations over Beach Read, I was like, okay, so this one must be incredible because Beach Read was so good and it's not really talked about as much. But I was just so like, I felt like I was thrown into the middle of a conversation where you have no understanding of the backstory, and then when the backstory would unravel or develop, it just felt kind of like anticlimactic. It was just kind of like I feel like the girl in the story that you're supposed to kind of root for because she's the heroine, I feel like you get frustrated with her. I just felt like she was immature and I wasn't really engaged with her, and I thought the guy was a little creepy. I don't want to like spoil it, but he's not even like in a romantic relationship with her, and he like gets a vasectomy because she had a pregnancy scared with a guy, and that's supposed to be like a romantic gesture. And I just thought it was like weird, and I just didn't like it. But yeah, so that's that's my most favorite book and then my most hated book. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.